Hi guys, welcome to Game Down. I'm actually doing this with a video camera. My god, this has been coming a long time, my podcast going onto YouTube. Well, today is a very special one. It's just this part. The first part of the podcast is going over there. As you can see down like beside me, wherever it is, we've got the Steam Deck introductional video because we are talking about the one, the only Steam Deck. Yep, I received mine. In this first part of the show, we're going to go over like my first 5 days, the 5 days of impression of what I've had with the deck, and just kind of my thoughts and feelings about how I've experienced this thing. It's on the desk. It's in front of me. I've got some stuff installed. I've got some stories to tell you. So I think I'll just leave the Steam page open because I've got not really a lot else to kind of record in there. I just wanted something a bit more fancy in there than just, I don't know, my face. Because no one needs to see my face. But if you are watching, do all the good YouTube things, like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. If you want to hear the rest of today's show, link in the description down below to get the rest of the audio show. But yes, Steam Deck. This is Steam Deck week. This is kind of huge for me. Because it's the first time I bought. I say the first time I bought a serious bit of kit. I would say it's a serious bit of kit for a while. The last big purchase I think I made would have been my Xbox Series S. But yeah, that's just a little plaything. It's a little white box, and I was hyped for a new console. Of course I was, but not as hyped as I've been for this damn thing here. Look at that. Look at it. It's in my hand. I've got it. And in the first part of the podcast, I want to talk about the build quality. I want to talk about the screen. I want to talk everything about about the deck and how I felt about it over those 5 days. I did a really clumsy, cheesy unboxing that I haven't quite got around to uploading yet to the YouTube channel, so do look out for that when it goes live. It was terrible in every single way possible. I think maybe I should just upload it anyway. But yeah. So, a bit of backstory. I ordered mine on August 7th, 2021. So, like over a year ago. Mine arrived Monday past, which would have been Monday the 22nd. The ordering process through Valve and through Steam was fine. We'll get onto that first, actually. It was the actual delivery process was the oddest experience I think I'd ever had. I bought it on the Monday evening. So the emails go around on a Monday and a Thursday, as we're all well accustomed to. And I'm going to leave some helpful tools in the description down below that really, if you're ordering one anytime soon, could give you an idea of when your deck could be with you. It's not a surefire hit to give you an exact date, but it gave me a bit of an understanding of when, especially when we started getting towards, my email coming from Valve. The spikes on Get My Deck were mad. And we actually, on a Discord that I'm part of, the Nerd Nest Discord, we actually did work it out to be the Monday the 15th I got my email, which is when we thought it was. So yeah, place my order on Monday the 15th. I've gone for the £459 one, as you can see there on the screen, which is the 256GB model. Do I think that's big enough? Probably not. If I had the money around and I could afford or justify the £569, I probably would have gone for the 512. Yes, I will at some point be doing an SD upgrade, an SSD upgrade in the Steam Deck, but I'm going to wait for my warranty period to run out with Valve. I'm not going to jump to start slapping a 2 terabyte SSD in there, even though the process seems to be fairly straightforward. iFixit video out there. They have really sort of made the right to repair on this thing pretty good. They did a really funny video actually about you may want to open your deck up, but we don't recommend that you do. But I at some point will upgrade that SSD. There's not a lot of, I think it's 30mm SSDs on the market. There's only like the possibility of a couple of makers. So I don't know. Firstly, because this is my first video podcast, so I want to apologise where my camera is. I have to record in my living room. And this is the angle. So I'm looking at my big screen with some notes and stuff on it. You're there. I am talking to you. I promise. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking kind of like that at you. So you have to bear with me. Sorry if that's not how you like it, but that's how I'm going to do it. Yeah, so where was I? Lost train of thought. Ordering process. Yeah, so as I said, got my email, placed the order on the 15th of August, and it arrived a week later. I think that's pretty much the safety net, if you like. It's going to take about a week from ordering, depending on where you are, from the depot to getting it. You have 3 days from receiving your email to purchase your Steam Deck. Remember, this is just a reservation fee. This is nothing other than just a reservation fee for you to reserve the Steam Deck. You can cancel at any time. Reserve now for £4 there. Expected order, which is really good. My expected order originally was Q2. Then I got put back to after Q3. And then I checked in the middle of July, and it had gone from after Q3, which would have been October, to July, September, middle of August, got me email. So they really have ramped up, and there was another tweet from one of the developers of the Steam Deck out the other day saying that they are ramping up the production of the Steam Deck, which is really cool, which means more people are going to get their hands on this piece of kit. And that's better for us, it's better for gamers. I will kind of just touch on the whole ordering process and what I thought of it. What I thought of the ordering process is I think it's good. We've gone through a couple of years of severe problems of getting a hold of equipment. I still have got a Series S. I mean, that was this year. I got that a year and a bit after they released. I've got an AMD 6800 in my PC because you just can't get the other graphics cards, or at the time, graphics cards, games consoles, a lot of things really suffered because of this chip shortage, and it's been really difficult to really kind of get a hold of stuff. But we're there now, and I think this process does stop those scalpers. Yes, it's taken over a year for me to take delivery of my Steam Deck. I reserved it when it wasn't even out. It dropped in February, so it's been February, March, April, May, June, July, or 7 months really for the Steam Deck. So going back to my model, 256 gig. I did say I would have gone for the bigger one. I do have a 512 gig Samsung Evo. I think it's a Samsung Evo micro SD cards. At some point, once they go on sale, because I'm not paying £200 for a 1 terabyte SD card, will be getting an SD card of size. Remember, if you go for the 256 or even the 64 gig model, what I've come to learn, and there is probably a way of putting them onto your SD card, is that it dumps the shaders, which I don't quite understand what they are. I suppose they're the graphic stuff to help it run on Proton, all those kind of things. It dumps that on the main card. It's not on your SD card. It dumps it on the SSD. Then you've got SteamOS on top. So I think I started around with about 230 odd gig of free space. Possibly, maybe a bit more, 250 gig. So it was something around those, I think. Probably, I don't know, between 230 and 240 would probably be a ballpark figure, maybe a little bit more than that. Then you have your shaders, and some of those shaders are like a gig at a time, so they're going on quite a lot when you're installing these games. I've noticed as well, with some of the installations of games, they seem to be a bigger size than what they are on the PC. Don't understand why. Some of them are the same as their PC counterpart, like Elden Ring is 50 gig on Steam Deck, 50 gig on Steam. Whether it's something there because it's installing on a handheld device and it's got to do some other bits because there's some optional layers in there within the Steam OS and Linux and all that kind of jazz. Not sure, but I have noticed that some of the games, unless I'm just hallucinating, I never realised how big games were when I installed them on the PC. So that's kind of the Valve and those bits all done and dusted, really. It's a good experience with Valve. There's not really anything I can complain about. The only thing I need to find out is how long the warranty is before I sort of don't crack this open when the warranty is intact. But apart from that, that part of it was okay. I did mention it was a bit weird. As I said, I paid for it on the Monday. I didn't get a notification from their courier company from the Netherlands. I didn't get much of an update from GLS, which I think is the company. No update at all. You check their website and it was just stuck, waiting to go through GLS's system. And then I get an update from the UK's parcel force that it's on its way was really, or it was in the UK and it was being sorted, and Monday it was here. Very strange, like delivery process, just a bit weird. But that's enough about Valve and that side of things, because there's been some horror stories regarding Steam Decks and other courier companies out there and bits and pieces. I don't know of any really in the UK. All I know is mine is here. And currently it's downloading Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is a game that I've never played before. I've been told by the good guys over at the Xbox podcast, 1H1D, to play Chrono Trigger a lot. So here I am downloading it onto my Steam Deck. Want to premise this whole thing by saying that I am a predominantly handheld gamer when it comes to, if I can play a game handheld, I will play it. My PC is being designated to content creation and sim racing. I am a massive sim racing fan. Hopefully on Gamed Out we're going to be bringing some more content very, very soon regarding the sim racing side of things. I did plug my wheel into this and got it working in Assessor Corsa Competizione. For some reason, that was one of the first things I had to do, and it worked. I've got like this really crappy dongle dock that's got a HDMI out. It's got USB 3.0. It's got a USB-C in. The only thing it hasn't got is like a decent Ethernet in. I've got another USB dongle that plugs the internet in. So getting internet and downloading games to this is a little bit of a pain in the arse. But the first thing that got me when I opened it, the experience of unboxing it, was how light this thing is. It's heavier than the Nintendo Switch, but I was expecting heft. I was expecting this thing to really weigh some. And it doesn't, surprisingly. It hurts when you hit it on your face when you're laying down and playing a game and you start falling asleep. That hurts. But it's not overly heavy. You know, you expect when you see the videos and the photos like this here on the Steam page, this thing is going to be a rum size. I haven't done that yet. I haven't walked around the grocery store with it. It's not as discreet, if you like, as the Switch. If you've got a Switch, you're going to know the difference. Predominantly, that was my main console for a time, was my Switch. That was the predominantly main console that I had in the house. That was what I would play games on. But like feel-wise, it feels good. Like this feels pretty damn solid to hold. I'm doing it like this because my microphone. Like this feels comfortable. My wife calls this the ugly toy. I don't think it's ugly. It's ergonomically sound. I like the joysticks. I like that the buttons are clicky. I'm just going to turn mine off for a second. It is downloading, but it's not going to be downloading anymore. But the joysticks are clicky. I love the triggers feel nice. All the buttons feel, like it feels like someone's taking care at building this thing. And I really like those triggers. They're a satisfying. I don't know how well it's going to come across on the microphone, but these are a satisfying click. Let's hope that come out all right. Then you've got these weird bloody things to the trackpads, which are very strange. As long as I've got a hole in my backside, I'll never be able to get used to trackpads. Have to use them for the odd game, and we'll go over games in a sec. Because in the podcast, which you're going to have to listen to, the other side of it, if you like, is I did talk about the first 5 games I was going to install. I'll run over some of the stuff that I installed and my experience shortly, but we'll go into greater detail of what I feel I like of certain games in a bit. But yeah, the overall feel, like, this is good. Like, if you want to see someone destroy a Steam Deck, go watch Jerry Rig Everything. But everything is really, really good. It just feels good in the hand. I can't stress that enough. I like the little sound it makes when it boots back up. So yeah, screen-wise, it's a good-looking screen. It really is. It gets plenty bright, and it gets bright enough in a dark room for when you're not needing to have it full brightness. Speakers are really good quality. They're absolutely solid. And as I said, the buttons are good. The one thing that's been memed on the internet just recently is the battery life, and over the 5 days, I haven't really managed to test. I'm hoping this weekend. I say that, but we're quite busy this weekend. I want to test the battery to its fullest. Now, yes, okay, very much like the Nintendo Switch. You play the Nintendo Switch at full brightness, Zelda Breath of the Wild, you're killing it in 2.5 hours. You play this at full pelt, 60 FPS, Elden Ring, right, full brightness, everything cranked up to the wazoo, you're killing it in a couple of hours. Yes, okay, the battery life is what it is. Can be improved in later revised versions of the Steam Deck, and we know that they're going to be bringing future hardware out, that, you know, new Steam Decks out in the future. It's no surprise that the battery life will die. I've got a battery pack. It's fine. I got a 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack, which will do the job. Haven't had to use it yet, but I class this thing as a bit of a tinkerer's toy, I think is the way to describe it. There was an age, and bear with me where I'm going on this, there was an age of where gaming or PC hardware and PC gaming was all about tinkering to get that game working, was about finding the next sort of possible thing that could make that game run better, smoother. It still is. This is that in a handheld. Yes, if you want to play games, you want to install them on Steam and go, and you want to stick to the Steam games that are verified for Steam Deck, you can. And you can have a good time with it, apart from a couple that I've tested. But if you want to extend that battery life, with The Witcher 3 on here, I managed to get roughly, I think it was like 4 hours, or that's what it was saying, 4.5 hours. But I was finding that peak point of where the Steam Deck is actually comfortable. Now, I'm not going to compare this to my PC. My PC can play games at 1440p, no problem, medium, high settings, whatever you want to call it. I'm not one of those that everything max at 4K. I don't have a 4K monitor. If I want to play something at 1440p, I'll sit down in front of my PC and do it. But that's not why I've got a Steam Deck. The reason I've got a Steam Deck is to be able to play games like Elden Ring, Spider-Man, all these other games on the move, and I'm willing to accept sacrifices need to be made to be able to for me to play these really good games on the sofa, in bed, on a plane, car, train, wherever I'm going. Those sacrifices are worth it. Valve have given you a million and one, or not a million and one, but enough options to make the battery life, stay well within a reasonable time, sort of giving you a good time. And what I might do is when I've got everything set back up again, and we'll go into that, I will probably go over that, what I have for some of the games that are running. You do not need this running at 60 FPS. 40 FPS seems to be what I feel is the sweet spot. And a lot of games are running really well at 40 FPS on this hardware, doing the job brilliantly. So overall, like in the first 5 days, my experience with the Steam Deck has been really positive. I've tried Guild Wars 2, and more of that to come. I've tried Trails in the Sky, which is a non-verified game, and it works fine. I've tried Grand Theft Auto 4 because it's a game that I love, but I've always wanted to complete. I've tried The Witcher 3. I've tried emulation. I've got emulators on here, and emulation, apart from some games, work really, really well. They do. They work really, really well. But ultimately, I have tried a lot of good games on the Steam Deck and had a good, positive experience. So if anything of this video for the first episode, if you can take one thing home and away with you today, is if you are thinking about it, reserve one. You get that money back if you cancel it. You can cancel that reservation at any time. Valve do not take that money from you. It's a reservation in a queue to basically say, oh, okay, yeah, and then make that decision about purchasing one. You get that £4 knocked off at the end. If you are struggling for the monies, get the 64 gig one, get a decent size SD card, and it will be okay for a while. It won't be great, but it'll be okay for a short time. They have created an absolute monster of a machine. It's not perfect. It does has its draws, and I expect when I do my sit down in a month's time video, I'm going to be able to give you a lot more setbacks or a lot more kind of criticisms to the Steam Deck. You got to appreciate I'm in the honeymoon period right now with this thing. So if you are watching, thank you very much. You're going to have to follow the link down in the description below if you want to catch the rest of today's podcast. Do, as I said at the beginning of the video, hit all the likes and the subscribes and all that good stuff for more Steam Deck and sim racing content here on Gamed Out. Until next time, guys, I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.